Hi everyone. I just wanted to record a short video just to introduce the trauma-informed policy analysis. So this is obviously based on the Bowen and Marsheed article that we read the first or second week of class, um, and the assignment really is in four parts. So only the first part is due at the end of this fifth week here, and that's really a description of the bill or existing policy. The rest of the parts are due later on in this semester. So the second part, for example, isn't due until that first part of November, and then parts 4 and 5 are due in December. So two parts due in November, and then the last two due on the same day in December. Now the reason this is the reason this assignment is sort of scaffolded like this is this actually lets you go back and make changes to the previous section when you hand in a subsequent section. So you can do that to raise your grade if you're interested in doing that. And so for this first week, what we're doing here is talking about these first maybe 4 or 5 of bullet points here. So you are free to pick any policy that you like. You could pick something at the local level, but I would probably steer you towards something at the state or federal level, simply because there's going to be more um, research available to you to sort of support the paper. There just isn't a whole lot at the local level. Um, and in fact, there's probably going to be significantly more information about policies at the federal level than there are at the state level. So if you're struggling, I would recommend that you go with a federal policy, simply because it'll have been evaluated much more than a state or local policy would have. If you're interested in doing something a policy that hasn't been passed yet, shoot me an email and let's talk about it. Let's figure out what that policy is. It's not a you're certainly welcome to. I just want to make sure we touch base about it first. As far as the content of the policy goes, or which area of social policy it's dealing with, that is wide open. I hope you pick something that's sort of consistent with what you're interested in, or maybe has to do with a problem that you're interested in focusing your career around. It could be, like I said, that area of policy is wide open. Whatever interests you is fine with me. So the other thing I've put on D2L is a list of potential websites that could be useful to you. Let me just show you that real quick. So this is just a 8 or 10 web or links to organizations that study social policy, and these would certainly have lots of credible information for you to use in your analyses. So it's the Center for Budget Policy Priorities, Kaiser Family Foundation. Oops, that's spelled wrong. Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, that kind of thing. There are certainly others out there. This is just a list merely to get you started. Not all policy information makes its way into the scholarly literature. Oftentimes, policy studies are done for policymakers, so they don't necessarily have to be peer reviewed. Although certainly there is information in the peer-reviewed literature that deals with policy information for you to use. So each one of these, let's talk a little bit more about sort of the specific sections here. Each one of these sections is probably going to be 3 to 5 pages. This first section might be a little bit shorter. I mean, in general, I'm not overly concerned with the length of a paper. I'm much more concerned with the quality. So I prefer a shorter paper that's well written, as opposed to a longer paper that perhaps maybe hasn't been edited as much. Um, if you have any questions about APA, you're welcome to get in touch. APA will be a part of this, or will be a part of the assignment. So use Times New Roman as your font, 12 point. Make sure you have 1-inch headings all the way around. Make sure you have, or 1-inch margins all the way around. Make sure you have headings and subheadings used throughout the paper. Make sure you're citing your sources. I am not a big supporter of using quotes in graduate level papers, so my recommendation is that you don't use quotes in this paper. Quotes have to be cited in a certain way. If they're not cited, there's that can be problematic. They're not cited like regular information is. So my sort of blanket recommendation is to stay away from quotes. Put the information in your own words. What that says to me is that you've thought about the information, you've taken some steps to try and internalize and master that information, and you can talk about it in your own words. If you have questions, you're uncomfortable with writing without using quotes, I'm happy to talk. Give me a call, shoot me an email, that kind of thing. I will gladly talk about it. As I said, this is divided into 5 sections, something we'll work on sort of throughout this semester. The description of the assignment is here. All of this is in the assignment section of week 5 along with the Dropbox. And as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. Okay, thanks for watching.